Okay.
All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order. If everyone could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All board members are present in person. Do we have any agenda items to table or remove?
We do. We have K3D, which is under personnel. And I have J2, give me just a minute, it's a policy, J2L, and I also want to add J1A. So I have three things I would like to table and remove, please. And it's the repeal policy. I still want to read it one more time before I do that. And they're indicated on the agenda except for the J1A.
All right, the superintendent is recommending that we approve the agenda as stipulated on the record. Do we have a motion for approval? Mrs. King makes the motion. Mr. Hall will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have minutes from July 6th. Do we have a motion for approval? Mrs. Wells made the motion. Mr. Nelson will second. Is there any discussion? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And then we have the regular minutes of our meeting. The first one we just approved was our statutory, and now our regular minutes from July 6th. So we have a motion for approval. Mr. Hall makes the motion. Mrs. King will second. Any discussion on those minutes? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We have no delegations tonight, so the superintendent's report and academic updates.
So we want to start with personnel for the 26-27 school year. We feel like that we are in really better shape than we've been the last couple of years as far as finding certified applicants for positions. However, we still have three, all three are special ed positions that are not filled at this point as far as full-time positions. We met with the principals today. We're starting to look at what are some of our options. We do have people in the system that work for us that are working on those degrees that can fill those positions. And so we will make a good decision to make sure that we have those filled as well as any maternity leave and that type thing. But we feel like for personnel that we are moving in the right direction. Not thinking at this moment we need an extra meeting, but we'll let you know if we do. That's one of the reasons I wanted to put it on there.
So our next meeting is currently August 10th.
Yes.
And we
Start that week on Thursday. That's an update. So we should be okay, but we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
One never knows.
Never knows. But I just want to give you that. The next one is, I just made this available to you, the West Virginia Secondary Schools Activities Commission provided us with a list of just dates, of their dates, of when all of their state championships are. So, and what cities they're in. I just gave you a list of the dates that involve our students. I do know that some of them are ranges. For an example, golf is a range, which makes it, we would be between the 12th and the 15th. We know with golf, we would be, because it rotates single A, double A, triple A, we're the 14th, 15th. And I know with track, you know, it's a range as well. And I think I looked it up the other day, and it is the, I said that, right now. Maybe I didn't. There we go. But it is, last year it was on Tuesday, and this year it rotates. So it depends on you're in a range, but you are in it moves depending on when it is. So I just wanted to give you those. I know you guys are good to support our students and our athletes, and that just gives you some needs that you might need. Along with that, I want to, you have the next paper, I'm just going to show, you have these on the agenda. The next one are middle school volleyball, middle school football, as well as all fall high school schedules. You have that as well, just for your records. I also sent those to you electronically. They will be put up on the site. Jamie is working on those to make sure all of our dates are in. The next thing you have in front of you is, we started Friday welcoming our principals back. And we had our district leadership meeting and staff development. And we had it Friday, Monday, and then we'll have additional on Wednesday, August 6th. As you all know, we provide our principals with a manual. The manual is a hard copy, but it's also electronic as well. And then when we train throughout the year, we hit each of the sections. So you'll see section 1 was the district meeting agenda. Section 2 is your monthly to-do list. It's broken down by section 8 is finance. And then within each of our meetings that we have, those directors that are over those areas then cover the items within that to make sure that, and then the principals have it all in one reference spot so they can go back. This year in our Dropbox, we have a resource tab and in each of the sections. So our manual is built, I know you don't make fun of me. Our manual is built by sections 1 through 15. Our Dropbox mirrors that, the same sections 1 through 15. So let's say Lori Wells requires them to have something done for finance, or they need to have something done for safety that Wendy Johnson needs to look at. Then when she goes in electronically, it will be under their to-do list in their electronic file under that tab. So it's very easy for them to communicate back and forth. We provide them resources in there, and then the principals upload all of their responses so that we make sure that we are compliant in all areas. It also makes it easier for the principals because it's organized, it's in one place, and we really had a couple really good days with them. We welcomed Melissa Emerson, which is our new principal at Harrisville Elementary School, and she was a great addition. The elementary principals welcomed her. They went out to lunch together, and I think that that's going to be a good relationship. So we are glad to have her with us. She does come to us with experience as a principal, and I think that's also valuable. So I just wanted to let you know that we are moving on. They've received their budgets already. We've watched our LSIC video. They left here feeling really good because they have their day 1, 2, and 3 staff development all figured out. We've given them all the things they need to cover. They're all in these files, so where they just have to open the files and their videos are there. We created them from their calendars. We created them PowerPoints, and so that they know which things that we want them to make sure that they hit home. And so I think it's very well organized, and they felt good when they left here that it's ready to go. We had this meeting earlier this year so that once we did give them all that information, they had more time to work with it.
So you're saying that you spent today training?
I did. Well, my staff did. We all did, yes. Everybody did. And we break it down, I think, and we could leave them all in one room and just give them all the information, but we have like little lessons with them, and we break them into small groups, and it seems to work better. So I just want to let you know that we continue to function like we do, and that is we believe that we are always learning and teaching, and that's what we do with our principals and when we have our district meetings. There's always sessions to develop them and make them better at their jobs. The next thing that I'm going to share with you is a couple of things that Mrs. Wells has asked me to report with you. You will find under the superintendent's report and academic updates, there will now start being a superintendent's report, and in my report, there will be a finance report every meeting of some kind. Lori has asked me to do that. With that, some of it's just a snippet of, oh, look, here's where we are and what we're doing, and here's the history. Some of it will be more involved, and then the meeting she's here to present, she will cover that as well. But you will have, there's been a real push, as Dr. Jackson knows in the state, to make sure that we let you all know, and we've done a nice job with it, letting you know where we are financially, but we are going to do even a better job. So that's where we are now.
Yeah, I would say that the state is definitely pushing the treasurers to provide more.
And so we are providing more. But in front of you, the two reports that I just want to show you tonight, if you look at the one that has the, it says revenue sources at the top, it has the purple and the yellow. Basically, I just wanted to give you a quick glimpse of revenue sources. We've talked about that before, how school systems and where our monies come from. And most of our monies come from what's in the first column, revenues from federal sources, revenues from local sources, which are the levies, and revenue from state sources. So the dark blue, the purple, and the yellow. And you will see that if the yellow's smaller, percentage-wise, then the purple's bigger. Those have to balance out. And you will also notice from 2023 till now, the decrease in the federal dollars that have been made available. Some of that's because still in 23-24, you still had some ESSER money, which you don't now, but there is still continue to be a decrease in the federal dollars. Some of the intermediate sources and the miscellaneous sources, they're so small, they're like $55.50. They're not really something we focus on, but we wanted to focus on the fact that those are our three main revenue sources. We want you to see the trend of our revenue sources. Do you understand that just by looking at that chart? That's kind of, that was what I was to teach you. That was my goal. You got that. On the other chart, it is a year-to-date, and it's expenditures. And to me, it took me a while to decide how I really wanted to present this. I went back and looked at, this is 25-26 through June. I looked at the prior year. I just wanted to see the consistency. You will notice that June, you're like, oh my gosh, they spent all kinds of money. No, in June you have to do 5 payrolls because you do the carryover pay. So when you're looking at the gold section, that has to do with payroll and salaries, as well as other professional expenses. And the blue, the dark blue, is fixed charges. So if you're making more payroll, those two things are gonna be double because you're making double. Another thing that, I guess when we hand these out to you, what we want you to notice as we look at these is the consistency. Like if you're looking at these across and you see, oh, that's the little purple, the third one over for September and October, there's gonna be a little bit more purple there because that's the expenditures for professionals and technical services. At the beginning of the year, you bring more people in to train, that's a higher expense. At the beginning of the year is when all of your contracts come up and are due for software as well.
Would you not also do the summer programs?
It could be, yes. Oh, yes, absolutely, that would have an impact on that. And then if you look to the right, if you look at April and June, do you see what colors added? New color? Red. You see the red? So if you look down below, guess what that is? That's some of our projects that we're working on. So we wanted you to be able to just look at it, because if the money, you all see where all the money's going. But if you looked at this, and in January, we had this big, a big percentage of it that went somewhere that you went, that doesn't seem consistent. Then that gives us a conversation to make sure that you understand where the funding's going to. So these are our expenditures to date through June of this past school year. And if you look through it, there doesn't seem to be that outlier that would cause you pause. And that's kind of that's what I was supposed to get through to you guys for my instructions for Warren. Does that make sense? Okay. So again, every meeting, we'll start giving you a little bit of a finance update as best we can.
Well, we look forward to it.
Okay.
Any questions? Great, next we have the consent agenda. Items A through Q are on the main agenda, and then we have R through U that will be on the addendum. So we will do all of the consent items at one time. Please look at both documents.
So under consent, A, B, C, D, E are annual transfers of students, volunteers in lieu of transportation, just things that we start working on to get the school year started. F and G are the schedules that I shared with you earlier for the middle school and the high school athletics. H, bus transportation routes are ready. I, a preschool annual collaborative agreement that we do every year with with Central West Virginia Community Action, and that is also ready for approval for us to sign it. Then J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q are all possibilities for us to travel out of state to a location. That doesn't necessarily mean that we will go, but if we go to Ogilvy, there's a chance we'll go up 7. So that just lets you know. However, if we are playing River, I can't remember if we are, River is in Ohio. Those are also on there as well. And then on the consent agenda, on the addendum, We have a job description for a Secretary 3 central office. It's the student support services. We are adding attendance and instruction with that secretary and changing some duties. That job description hadn't been updated in a number of years because someone had been in that position. It's time to be updated, and with the way we've moved around in this office, it becomes better that they also work with attendance and instruction.
So it's gonna be at a time when that job could be open,
Yes.
you know, today's.
Today's agenda.
Okay.
Yes. And even if it's not, we're gonna make the change because, and then you'll see, because we need to, we also will update the transportation. You will start seeing some of our central office secretaries updating them. But we got this one ready because we needed it. We're asking you to approve a memorandum of understanding between us and Salem University to allow us to do internships and field placement. And then in the next line, to approve Brooke Walgerman to complete Salem University internship for one course that she has. And then the last one, to approve Ritchie County Community Schools. They are partnering with the Ambulance Authority to conduct their annual school supply drive. I ask that you approve those consent items as discussed.
The superintendent is requesting that we approve the consent agenda with items A through U. Do we have a motion for approval? Mrs. King makes the motion, Mr. Hall will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Betsy, we're not hand people anymore. Well, you can put your hand out.
We have to talk. Because we're being,
Just kidding.
being recorded.
All right, next policies. You would like to repeal 4010?
So that's the one I asked you to table. We will not be doing that this evening.
Okay.
And we are moving on to number 2.
All right,
To
let's
approve.
move to number 2.
In your packet in front of you, I did print this out, so hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense. And I color coded it, the green stack that you have. This green stack, as you all know, I've shown you before, every year, we take our policies and within a 4-year period, we've read them all again and we make any changes that need to be made. But I've written it on here so you understand what we've done. A through H are the green policies. They were just reviewed. They were looked at and there were nothing grammatical that needed changed. There was nothing policy-wise that needed changed. We're just asking that you approve those policies and let you know that someone reviewed them in that 4-year period. Does that make sense? Then the next stack, I call them refresh, and they are the white ones. Stack of the white ones, stay together. They have simple changes like the school board effectiveness. It was just, there were no word changes on it, but it wasn't formatted correctly. So I went back in and formatted it, and so that's the only change that was in it. The next one, workplace readiness, there were a couple places that it said shall, and it should have said may. And so those have been corrected, but that was the only change in those. And the change from shall to may was a state change. So we don't have a choice, we just had to make sure our policies, these policies in white, are either changed because of something we cleaned up grammatically, format, or aligned them with state policy. And so that one got aligned with state policy. The next one on promotion, underneath, which is policy 4090, there had to be a line added to it. It's 1, 2, 3, the 4th paragraph down. It says 3rd grade students will. Keep hearing about the 3rd Grade Success Act. That line had to be added in order to make us compliant. And so it even says that as outlined in 4300, 3rd Grade Success Act. But that's the only thing that was changed in that policy. Driver's education, it was simple. Number 10, there were no dashes in the code, and we had to make sure the code was in there right, and at the end, it was referenced up in the code, so we added it at the bottom. So it was a simple change as well. 4190, it had an effective date, and we have changed that to say, including all current and future revisions, as the governing procedures for the identification, evaluation, eligibility, placement, and provisions of special educational related services. So this still, by policy, has to be looked at annually. But it's just saying we're gonna follow the policy that is in place by the state, and we're now saying if they change it, we're still gonna follow it. So that doesn't change anything here. Instructional resource adoption, there was one change in it, the state changed, that it used to say that the Board of Education had to approve on or before May 1, it is now June 1st. So that is the only change, it's not really up for debate, the state says that's the new rule. Employment of substitute teachers in the area of critical need, we went ahead and ran this through as a refresh because annually you have to do that, and the date changed from 25-26 to 26-27. And so, and at the very last, it changed from 20, so 2 places in it, we just updated the year. Does that make sense? The one that has the most changes is policy 7180, because there were changes in the state code for video and audio recording. Some definitions were changed. Sonia Hott went in, and you can see there's a lot of yellow, but all of this yellow is just pulled directly from the code to make us in compliance and to meet the code as far as our responsibility for video cameras in those classrooms. And that takes us through the refresh portion, which is A through Q, and then we stop there. I ask that you approve the reviewed ones, just letting you know, and then also the refreshed ones with the small changes that were made to make them compliant or to clean up their grammar and things.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the reviewed and refreshed policies? Mr. Nelson makes the motion, Mrs. Wells for second. Is there any discussion? Not all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. The next one will go to some first readings.
We ask that you put these out for first readings. The first one we've been working with our attorney on, and that is home and hospital services, which is basically homebound services. We, at one point, many years ago when I first came here, had this policy, and they determined that we didn't, the lawyers did. But as the world has changed, this policy, again, is needed in many school systems. And so we have asked Rick Boothby to help us in getting this policy ready and to put it out on reading. It allows us to manage our homebound students with more consistency and to have a guide for it. The next one is our technology acceptable use, which is annually the acceptable use policy that parents and students have to look at and sign. A couple of things that are in here are, you can see using any digital communication, not just social media, is listed. There's a grammar thing corrected, and then there's a whole section that summarizes AI, and for faculty and students, the ethicalness of it, the user accountability, how you are to use it for school. It is defined in that section. And then on the two acceptable use agreements, the district has established that we communicate through rooms, and that will be a part of that. As you all know, that is how we communicate, and that also has been added into this. So I ask that you put both of these policies out for first reading.
Superintendent is recommending that we put both of these policies out for first reading for policy 4300 and 4110. Do we have a motion to put them out for first reading? Mrs. Wells makes the motion, Mrs. King will second. Is there any discussion? I am glad to see they are putting some guidelines for acceptable educational use of AI out there, because without guidelines, it shall be used.
Yes.
It shall be used no matter what.
How will students know those guidelines?
All students are given they have to sign this and they review it with their teachers. Parents are given a copy of it as well. And then we still have to do CIPA compliance, which is required by all the states. Not really sure which program we're using yet. All of the students will have to have a program or a course that allows them to, they're taught about internet use and misuse, and that will be a part of it.
I would recommend that we, in the heading part, we actually say artificial
Okay.
just because I have some programs where AI means something different.
Okay.
We can see it as Val.
You can see it now. Yeah, but, you know, in agriculture, it means something very different when you
Sure.
say AI.
We will get that out there.
I just think that Eddie should probably have.
That would be a good idea.
Complete.
We will let Mrs. Wagner know that. That's a good one.
I know what
You're right. That would be my only suggestion for that.
We'll take care of that.
Thank you so much.
I do want to say that my staff has worked extremely hard so that these aren't drug out over months. We probably still have 4 or 5 more that are going to take us a little bit more time, but the ones that we can get out and we knew we needed to get out, and the ones we will be in compliance with everything, there are 4 that must be done before like August 1st. We will meet all of those requirements too. We're
I
excited.
have no doubt that you will meet the timelines.
We're excited. They did a good job. I was very proud of them. They did a good job.
Great job, team. Great job. All right, next we have personnel, and we'll start with resignations.
We have some resignations from substitute positions. We have Christina McCullough from substitute custodian, Cassandra Carmichael from substitute aide, cook, and secretary, and Jenna Keener from substitute secretary. You will see those come through this time of year because of policies we have in place and the number of days they need to work. And that's some of the reasons for some of these. There are some just decided they didn't want some, but you'll see a number of those come through. Okay.
We know that Teresa is checking in with them.
Yes.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the resignations submitted prior to the publication? Mr. Hall will make the motion, Mrs. King will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. The next we have one submitted after publication.
We do, and that is Vanessa Patton as a substitute teacher.
Do we have a motion to approve that resignation as well? Mrs. Wallace makes the motion. Mr. Nelson will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And next we have employments, et cetera.
We have one request for FMLA as well as some days off in accordance to policy 5240. We also then have some employments. The first one is Abigail Owens for an English teacher at Ritchie County Middle School. Amanda Hayes, a multi-categorical teacher at Creed Collins. Michael Wilson as a substitute custodian. Then we have a whole lot more. Austin Wilson as a bus operator, Veronica Stanley for a number of mentor positions, Dana Dalton for a mentor position, Barb Law as a SAT and an IEP coordinator, Melissa Davis as a sports ticket worker, Nathaniel Simons after school at Harrisville, and Taylor Osborne as the assistant cheer coach, Jordan Adams as the assistant football coach at the middle school, Christy Haddix and Sam Lamp as non-paid assistants for cross-country, middle school, and high school. I ask you to approve those as listed on the agenda.
Right, the superintendent is recommending that we approve the employments, which are K through A through C, and then E through U. Do we have a motion for approval? Mrs. King makes the motion. Mrs. Wells will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have payment of bills in the amount of $617,147.63. Do we have a motion to pay the bills? Mr. Nelson makes the motion. Mr. Hall will second. Is there any discussion?
I looked through them all. You got a fly?
Yes, we can.
Sorry.
Let's go.
She was smacking a fly.
The fly is still on my microphone, so.
At some point,
All right, yes.
at some point, I always see them and then I forget and then I ask. All of the subscriptions and software services they're all kind of vague when they're listed, because it'll be like 95% group, which I kind of know what it is, but there's so many of them, and it adds up to a lot. Like, during this school year, if Lori could give us a list of those so we understand
So we do have a list
what
of.
all they are.
We do have a list of them, because the way we have it set up now is that annually we evaluate them whether or not we're still using them and they are of purpose. And then, so that you don't lose contracts, you have to stay organized. And so we have what programs we have, when their date's up. So it would not be hard for us to compile you a list of what programs we have and what they're used for.
I could reference that.
That's actually a good idea.
30,000 for this,
Report.
yeah.
I thought you were a list of
I think that-
financial reports.
But that's a good one because first of all, it's easy for us to do. Like you said, if you see Teach Point, that's a program that we use. You have no idea what that is.
No idea.
And what Teach Point is
Must ask.
yeah. And so what Teach Point is it's a program that if I'm a teacher and I take a staff development, I go in there and log my staff development hours and I evaluate how the staff development went. And so you would have never gotten from point A to point B without some information. So I think that's a good ask. We'll get that for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I also heard someone say the other day that one of the best trainings for a teacher is APL training.
It is.
And all systems in the state should come to have it, so.
I've personally gone through it at least 6 times. It's really good. And remember though, we had it the last time and they canceled us. But they do a nice job. Yes, I agree with that.
All those in favor of paying the bills in the amount of $617,147.63, please say aye.
Aye.
I just want to say the number. Motion passed. Next, we have financial requests for approval.
And we also have one
And,
on,
yeah, on the
yes,
agenda.
on the agenda. The supplements and transfers, I'll go over those in just a second. We also have been given a retro revised mileage rate to 0.76. It went into effect July 1.
Was it 0.75?
It was 0.7.
Not much difference. Okay.
I can't remember.
That's all right.
2.5? I can't remember. D is to approve Veritas Construction out of Fairmont to do our restrooms and our locker rooms. And approve us to declare 315 desks, 87 chairs, and 17 tables as surplus property. And it's going to be sold or distributed through the West Virginia State Surplus location in Charleston. And the inventory amounts may vary because when they come to look at them, they may say that one's not good enough to take. But what normally happens with those that go to that surplus place, they then go out into schools that need them. And we decided, we tried to just give them locally, no one wanted them, so we went this route. And then approved declaration of school bus 1607 as surplus property, and we'd like to sell that through sealed bids.
And then G.
Oh, and then G, we have put out bids for our bread bid for the year, and Nichols Bakery got it out of Martin's Ferry in the amount of $30,654.90. And then the last two things I need to go over with you are the supplements and transfers, because I did say I'd do those last. And for supplements, we're starting to get grants in. We've got the early literacy grant in. You get your vocational money in blocks. We got the secondary block of our vocation money. We got a vocational equipment grant, and then our adult basic grant through the federal program that basically pays for Misty supplies. And then we also got our vocational federal Perkins money as well. And all of those are listed on the supplement page. And then on the transfer page, we only have 2 transfers today, and they're Fund 11 County and Fund 61 State. And they are for coding purposes for training. And there were new codes the state put in, and so we had to adjust that. And then also communities and schools comes in a lump, and then we had to transfer it out to put some in a line item for travel and supplies. So I ask that you approve the financial request as stated.
All right, the superintendent is recommending that we approve the financial requests, A through G. Do we have a motion for approval? Mrs. Wells makes the motion, Mrs. King will second. So, quick question, the bus that apparently is a 2007 bus, was it one of our?
216 for 2016.
It was a 2016? So 07 is the number, 16 is the year?
Am I right? I think I'm right.
Okay, I know one of them is the year and one is the number. Was it one of the ones that we were using as a backup bus anyway?
We got 2 new buses in. this week while I was gone.
Hey.
Yeah, I came back today and that, because we have 2 brand new buses they got here, so they're starting to get them on it.
That's Nice. exciting.
So, you guys have done a really nice job, I think, in helping support us make sure the transportation is safe, and we're getting all the buses at an age which makes it great for our students and our drivers. So I'm excited about it.
All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Do we need to discuss construction planning?
I would like to.
Alright, do we have a motion to enter into an executive session at 6:39 PM to discuss construction planning as per West Virginia Code 6-98-4B9? Mrs. Wells makes the motion, Mr. Hall will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We will now enter into an executive session.
We don't have any action.
Nelson will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We are now back in regular session where we just had an update on construction projects. Next is a request for agenda items for our next board meeting. Do we have any requests?
I do have one request, from Mr. Hall for subscriptions, and I'll try to get it at the next one, but it will be soon.
It's okay if it's not